Oh, it does look completely different there. Okay, so if I do it, oh, that's fine. Yeah, I have no idea if this is going to work, so we'll find out. But yeah, heads up. There's some creative stuff in here, and there's a lot of moving parts. So without further ado, here we go. This is Supercharge Your Skills with creative coding, and I decided to call it Make It Pop, and this will make sense as we go through. I'm Jhey Tompkins. I bring ideas to life. Thanks for the intro. And yeah, I tend to start with something like a little warm-up, right? So this is just an input type range, and it's pretty standard. You can just like move it. And then with the web platform, you can add something like accent color, right? And you can add like a little accent to it. And that's kind of cool. But what if you took that and then you mapped it, and then you thought like, when it goes red to green, like as I change the value, yeah, great. Like, that's all right. But then you could turn them all on their side and take away the thumb, and now like it reacts to my voice, which is pretty cool, right? Now they're all waveforms and it's just inputs, and I like to think of it as expression through the impractically practical. I'm using the web platform to do interesting things, and I'm just like supercharging my skills as I go, right? Hooking the title. But then I was thinking more about this, and like, I like yellow. My mom's favorite color is yellow, and you know that's a yellow input. But what if you thought about your inputs? Normally you just kind of like use your finger and go across, but what if you like grabbed it with your hand, or I don't know, like it kind of feels like it would be like a trumpet. And then I don't know. I think it's kind of cool though. But the whole point is, like, when you try and make stuff that isn't out there, or like you take your skills to another level, it beats this point, right? You can't just yarn add this super obscure thing, or like mold it to whatever framework you're using. You just skill yourself up, and the idea is that you give yourself the confidence to create anything, and you just go beyond the documentation. You become it. You become that person to go to where someone goes, hey, could you build this? And you just say, yeah. I can do it. And it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, the more creative you get, the more ideas you have, and then the more you want to try something, and they just kind of really well complement each other, and it's a great way to get this GIF in to every deck. But I don't have a piece of paper, but I feel like this is a good one. If I gave you a piece of paper, what's your instant thought? I did this in San Francisco, and everyone grabbed pens out of their bags, and I was like, why are you writing? And in the end, we did a workshop on creating paper airplanes. And that's the whole point, right? It's all about perspectives. Like, we're kind of siloed into thinking in a certain way, like, this is how it's got to look, this is what I've got to do, society has drilled down on me. But when you think about the web platform, it innovates because of perspectives and creativity, and it's like a constant cycle, right? Something becomes a common pattern, everyone starts doing it, it goes into the platform, and it continues. So how do you even get into this? Well, just hoard all your ideas in whatever you want to do. Google Keep, Post-it notes all over your room, Trello boards, do people still use them, I think? And don't focus on like how or why you're going to do it. Just focus on what you want to make. Be led by your ideas and see where it takes you. These are some random things I've made. A plane with CSS, like a tuggable light bulb. That one in the middle tends to, well, people tend to like that one. I don't know. But if I give you a play button, what would you do with it? What could you do with it, right? You could just turn it into a boombox. Why not? I don't know if the audio comes through. Oh, it does come through. But like, I wanted to turn it into a boombox, and then I learned how to do EQ and read MP3s and stuff like that, and then how to animate and how to do the timeline, how to get the easing. Like, it took me on a whole journey of doing different things. But it's a personal journey, so I can't tell you how to do it. And it's a process that you have to go on by yourself. And today's problem, we're going to do making it pop. So, there I am. So I started speaking last May, and I think by the time June comes around, I'll have done as many talks as many months, which is exhausting as it sounds. But this is the talk I wanted to give pretty much right at the start. And the reason being is, how do I make a conference talk more engaging? And it's really hard, because you're literally just talking to a room of people, and you don't get anything back instantly. It's hard, right? Chet Haas, if you ever get time or you want to get into public speaking, watch this talk, Top Tips for Terrible Talks. It's absolutely brilliant. And one of the things he says is be a person in the room, which is so true. Like, have a conversation about whatever you're talking about and just be yourself, right? And this one always sticks with me. No one wants to see massive walls of code. It's kind of boring. You're just here to kind of get the snippets and get out and like go on your own journey, right? But exactly as I said, have you ever tried having a conversation with yourself? It's really hard. I can't tell. And for one, I can't really see you, but I can't actually tell whether you're smiling or whether you're all checking Instagram. So it's kind of tough. But as soon as I started on this journey, I took it from like my background in Twitch, which is more like I'm doing something, people are watching, and they can interact, right? They can message me, but I can't actually see their faces. So it's like I want a happy medium between the two. I want to be able to have a conversation, but actually see you in person, depending on the lighting, and actually get your feedback. And I had this idea right at the start, which was, I take it everyone knows what they are. Yep. Which was to try and get hold of party poppers. Do I have any analog fans in the room? Anyone want a party popper? You can have one. We'll go for one in the rafters. Sweet. But have you ever tried to find party poppers on the road? It is a nightmare, and I can't tell you the countless Ubers or Lime scooters I've gone on or stores I've gone into to try and find party poppers so I can make something fun for the audience. It's a nightmare. So I went on this idea of what if I could just turn the idea of slide decks upside down, because slide decks are also a nightmare. And the first thing you'll get told is, have you tried X, Y, or Z? And it's like, yeah, but that's not what I'm going for, right? And it's back to getting siloed into thinking. Everyone thinks you should do gradient text and free boxes, right? Every startup does that. But just go on your own path, right? You don't want to go to Conform Town. You want to go to Supercharge City, right? You want to be yourself and find some stuff out, make something cool. So today, we're going to talk about how to build a slide deck. And it's definitely the three bears problem, right? You like your porridge just in the middle? Well, I like my slide deck to be built kind of like this. I want it to be marked down, and I want to do my own little decorators, and I just want to be able to throw it in there and say, make a slide deck. Right? That's how I want it to be, so I'm going to make it like that, and I'm going to learn a load of stuff doing it. And that is a slide from that code. Pretty cool, right? I think that's pretty cool. And here's the boring bit. So the cool thing is, like, I was led by my idea of what it was going to be I was going to make. So I was like, I could just use whatever I want, right? Great thing about slide decks, works on my machine. So I'm using a bit of Astro. I've got a bit of React in here. I've got some other stuff. All I want to do, though, is take my markdown and turn it into some sections of HTML, and then I can do whatever I want with them, right? And then here's what some of the React Markdown part looks like. I'm making a slide, and I've got some components, and I'm learning how to do remark plugins and rehype plugins, and I'm building different components like this. I've got like, I'm learning how to walk abstract syntax trees, so I can take Markdown and turn it into different HTML. Are you bored yet? You must be. I would be. I don't want to see that. That's all the boring bit. So let's talk about something cool that you could use to build slides. View transitions. Anyone know what view transitions are or have played around with them yet? One person that happens to live with me. One person up there. Cool. They're really cool. They're coming to the platform. They're in Chrome at the moment. Cool thing. I built that as a component in Markdown, so I can just get the browser support for anything I'm talking about. That's kind of cool. Caveat, if you like anything you see, you can pop the popper, but the more on that's coming, I just skip that bit. But the way view transitions works, it's like takes two snapshots between a DOM update. You get the old one, the new one, and then it sort of like does some magic and animates between them. Like I said, I'm not getting deep in the technicals. I'm just giving you some ideas. You can go off and have a go yourself. But this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to update the DOM, and I'm just going to change a page, right? Now, out of the box, you get this for free. Just a nice little crossfade, right? Don't worry about the content. It was all I could come up with on short notice. all right, that's great. It did a little crossfade, did that for free, and it'll work even across routes, which is going to be kind of cool. But that's all it took at the moment. I'm just doing some update DOM, document start view transition, and then I get access to some promises where I can do stuff. What's cool, though, if you do something like this. So say, if you remember how the snapshot was, the avatar moved down. Wow, right? It just like shifted down for me, and I didn't have to work out what was going on. And that was the only line I had to add, just in the CSS, right? And the browser worked it all out for me, which is pretty freaking cool. But you can hack it. And this is where you get with creative stuff, right? You can start hacking things and going on a little tangent. So you can use the Web Animations API, and you can do like something like a hold animation, and then do whatever else you want, and then finish the hold animation at the end. I promise there's not too many of these long code blocks that you don't want to look at. But you learn to hack stuff, right? And then you could maybe do something like that, which is kind of cool. Like, it's like kind of classic game dev. I guess John Romero isn't here because there's a bit coming up for him, and oh well, we'll get to that. But where could you take these transitions? Because the interesting part is it's update DOM, it's not update page. And that was what hooked me. I started playing with this last year in San Francisco. I used to work with Jake, who worked on this Jake Archibald. And he said it's update DOM, and it just sent me on this pathway of what could I do with it. So if you think about in the DOM when you want to move an element, and I could just say like append it to something else, and by default you would get something like that, right? I'm just clicking, and it's just moving between the two boxes. And that's fine. I can't find my clicker. There it is. But with the crossfade, right, I get that, and that's great. And you can see some weird thing happening there, because we need to worry about like mixed blend modes. But again, if I just had that one line, I get the mover, like view transition name in there, and now it just animates for me. I don't have to work out where it is, unlike my cursor, which is really hard to work out where that is. But I could like translate this thing around, and it's still going to work it all out for me. The browser's doing all the magic for me. I don't have to worry about doing like flip animations, if you know what they are. And it took me on like another little path. And the cool thing about these as well, like when you get creative with stuff, it actually finds loads of little bugs in new APIs. So this one's a good one. I've actually tried to make it not look like a bug. But basically, if you were to shuffle cards, and all I'm doing there is just moving things in the DOM and saying do a transition each time, you could do like a little card shuffling thing. But the problem is it finds bugs. So backface visibility, really nerdy, but doesn't work at the moment with view transitions. You will have forgot that by the time this talk's over, I'm sure. But moving between slides, it's a DOM update, right? And this is all I have. I just do direction, update my slide, move 1, -1, the direction on click or whatever, and then you can see where this is going. I've got a slide deck that's just built with view transitions. That's kind of cool. Like, that's kind of fun. Like, I'm using something new. I've learned about the API. I'm building a tool for myself, and it's a great like thing to talk about. And you could get like different with it. So I have like, this is what a different transition might look like. So I have like the slide in there. Oh, this is the slide transition. So that's how slide looks. And it's kind of cool. But then you see that one? Like shrunk out. So you could do all sorts. You could just, it's just CSS now. I'm just playing with it. That one's a swap in and a swap out. That's kind of cool. All I have to do is update some animations on the different view transitions. So if we go back, you have view transition old. These are new pseudos that you use for the different snapshots that we talked about. And you can just do different animations on them, which is kind of rad. I guess this is lost because he's not in here. But you could do something like that. So I've got a transition that I've called Doom. And this is in my little decorator that I built with the boring markdown bit. And I can be like, hey, cool. And it like does the little Doom melt. I thought it was pretty cool. But you could get even further with it. So I don't know if this one will work. Let's find out. All right. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Sweet, right? So I learned how to do like drawing a gesture and creating canvas particles and all this kind of stuff just so I could go 2 slides and bring up the dictionary. But I skipped 2 slides. That's kind of cool, right? And now we're thinking, all right, what else could I do with this? Like, how else could I make this easier for me? Well, maybe I'll bring in some gestures. Maybe I'll bring in some speech, right? Because I don't know if this is going to work, but it looks like it's working. That's pretty awesome. Sweet. So your browser can listen to you, and I'm never sure about the acoustics when I do something like this. But, you know, Miami, Will Smith, that's a thing. And I thought maybe you take that and you give it some commands, right? So, like, I could be like, Will, turn the lights on. Sweet. And it's all with my voice. Like, now I'm controlling the browser with my voice, so that's kind of cool. What possibilities does this take me down? And you get it to speak back to you. So maybe I say something like, Will, what is the time? Will, what is the time? Oh, gosh. This always happens. Will, what is the time? Good shout. Will, what time is it?
The time is 1684855472866.
JavaScript. It's JavaScript time. But you could turn it into like a whole little Home Assistant thing, or be like, Will, what's the weather like? Oh, I can't remember the commands. He's going to say something like it's really hot. We'll come back to him later. But the idea is that you could do something like, you know, you can use your voice. So maybe I'm in my phone and I say something like, next slide. That's pretty cool, right? Like, how the hell did I do that? Previous slide. Sweet. And I'm thinking like, well, what are you doing here? Well, anyone seen Minority Report? Classic. Bit weird, but there's that classic GIF where he's just like throwing stuff around. People always remember that. And you could do stuff like that with your phone, right? So you could do mapping of like device motion and orientation, and maybe you could use that for something. Like maybe you could go down a path of doing this. So here I'm doing like mapping the different axes to work out what I want to do. And I'll skip this one because I'm mindful of time, because I think I had like minus 10 minutes before I even started. But in that example, I'm manipulating a cube around. But in this example, I could do something like, and you should be able to see this. If we open up DevTools, and then we open up the sensors emulator, you can emulate a device being moved around, which is also kind of cool. And then, maybe, you could do something like open a safe. So like, if you did this on a device, it would vibrate, because then I'm using like the navigator.vibrate API, because it's something else I found out, because I've just been exploring how to do stuff. And I'm just going to brute force it, because that's what I've seen in Hollywood films. And inside, you'll find the answer to tabs versus spaces. I thought that was funny. So, but that's all good, but like, just mapping is going to be really awkward if I want to do the whole Minority Report thing. So I need to get a full picture of what's actually happening. So I had this on my phone, and I can do something like actually read. Let's get the right cable. That's a good start. I can read exactly where I'm at. So, bear with. Let's see if it works. Inspect with Chrome DevTools. I've got loads of tabs open. Right. You weren't meant to see that one just yet, but that's fine. It's really hard doing this on stage. I was a bit mindful of it. All right. Cool. Right, so this is my phone, which I can, yep. Now, if I begin detecting what's going on, you can see all these sensors are doing stuff, right? And it's kind of wild, but because I'm doing that, I can get a good idea of what my rotation rate is, like my acceleration and stuff. And then obviously if I go back, I could start doing stuff like getting a really good idea of what I'm up to, and then I might like think of like different gestures. So it was really hard if you ever played it, but that's pretty cool, right? Mindful of time. But we go through that. Oh, forgot about this one. Now, this one's really cool. Don't know if this one will work, though. Guess we'll find out. Right. The idea with that one as well is the more you do, the more of the stuff disappears. So this one, no, it's not open the right one. Bear with me. We will get there. This is always really stressful doing this. Mindful that everyone is watching me do it as well. So I could take that, and I don't even know if this will come through because it will come through on my phone, which maybe if I hold it here, you'll be able to hear it. But I'm a terrible DJ, as you can tell. Let's try that again. Oh. Yeah, I mean, oh, okay. All right then. We'll leave that to the pros. But, you know, you go on this whole journey because you just want to, oh, we've done that one. Just because you really wanted to open it up and you just wanted to be like, okay, no clicker, but sweet, right? Now I can just go through slides. So it's time for a social experiment. Get your phones out, if you wish. You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. This is the whole reason I built it, but I went on a tangent and built all the other stuff, because why not? So, I guess I could just bring that up now as well. So, don't worry, it'll be there. Well, I wonder what's happening there. There's a counter. Sweet. There you go. Give people things to touch and they will touch them. I always have some kind of innuendo. That's not what I meant. But yeah, how did my phone talk to my slides? Well, the whole purpose of this talk was making it pop, and what I did was I built a remote that I could talk to my slide deck from my phone. So if I want to open something up, there's a little, you should be able to send a message now. So if you want to know which one gets opened up next or enabled, you just ping me and tell me, and it should work. We'll see. First emoji or first whatever, we'll open that one up. As I said, this is an experiment. It might work, it might not. Don't leave me hanging. Oh gosh. You're still there, right? The best bit is when they watch this, I won't know if you're there or not. All right, well, maybe the messaging isn't working. I'm going to do it. Let's say parachutes. Oh, okay. Maybe it isn't working. All right, well, maybe you'll send something and it didn't work. But if I enable these, oh, that is interesting. Did we break it? Maybe we broke it. Oh, no. Okay, it just wasn't connected. So someone said, oh, no, and you got it completely right. So you have to do a little refresh. Annoyingly, there we go. Now do the air horns. Sweet, right? It's a success. Cool. So the good thing is that I can clear this, I think. But again, this is an experiment, so I'll have to go back to the drawing board with some of this, I guess. But it was this whole journey, right, of being able to bring party poppers digitally with me, because sometimes I just can't find them, and it's really annoying, and I walk for miles and I don't find them. And how am I doing this? Well, one day I was just checking out the Superbase docs, and I was like, that's cool. You can get publish subscribe straight in your whatever you're doing for free. Like, you don't have to set up a database or anything. And you might be thinking base, oh, I need a database, but you can literally just set up a subscribe channel or publish subscribe, and off you go. And that's kind of what I did. I just said, like, hey, you know what? I could just send events from my phone or wherever from your phone, and then my slide deck picks up on them, persists all the data, all the counters and stuff, and then I can get feedback from all the talks I give, or like get interactions, or find out how many pops I got. How are we at? Need to bring back the popper, don't I? Give it a refresh. Obviously, I'm finding out. Oh, where's it gone? Okay, that's awkward. But where did the popper go? Oh man, it feels like we're really out of sync now. We've got some residuals. There we go, we're at 75. But the idea was that all I did was I just created an interaction map, and I just have all these actions based on emojis, and I just say, do the thing, right? Fun. And that's how one of my reactions might look. I really should have known in a room full of people attending a tech conference that I would not get a word in after I put this up there. But, go Heat. This is brilliant. But it really just becomes a... It really just becomes a whimsical islands kind of affair, and you can just do whatever you want in. The bears are a bit of GSAP, the confetti is stuff. I should have put cowbell in. The blue bear was an idea, like if someone wanted me to freeze on a slide, and then they could like take a photo, because that's really annoying. Like if I'm in a conference and I'm like, oh, let me just get a photo of that, and then it goes. Only 2 poppers, I'm afraid. I couldn't find any. So, yeah, and then you just open up all the other stuff, and there's some more cool ones that should... There you go, mind blown. Parachute bears, that one's kind of cool. Why not? And the idea is that, maybe I could collect some real feedback on whatever I'm presenting, or just loads of hi mum messages. But just remember, you can have fun too, right? You can have fun with it. So yeah. Cool. So, yeah. So the idea is that I started with a little seed of why can't I find party poppers in other countries? And I went on this whole journey of, I'll make a slide deck. I'll do this, I'll do that. Why not? I'm already here. I may as well do some more of this and that and that and that. And it just builds up. And then you end up with a complete mess on stage in front of everyone. But that's it. I solved a problem I had with the web platform. And remember, you're more than a to-do app, is what it says behind there. That's obviously a bug that will work out. If you haven't, start your journey. It's just pixels. The more you play around, the more you're going to find out. And Will, say goodbye, Will. He did say something in there. It's fine, you missed it because there were too many noises. And that's it. And I'm done. On to the next one. Thank you.